don't know. You know what I've been thinking? I've been thinking that maybe we need us some crew. You think we need us some crew too? We got all these fine pirate garb here. Look at the pirate garb. We just don't have nobody to fill it. What can we do about that? Oh, I forgot about this book. I got in the book. Pirate Pete's Talk Like a Pirate. I think he might be having the same problem. Let's see what he does about it. You want to? You sound like a chicken. I didn't know you could do like impersonations. Try again. Still sound like a chicken. All right, sit right here. Let's see what happens in this book. Pirate Pete's Talk Like a Pirate. Maybe we'll solve our problem. I wish this boat wasn't so rocky. Getting a little bit of seasickness here. Thank goodness the sea has got a little calmer. Pirate Pete Talks Like a Pirate. This is by Kim Kennedy and illustrated by Doug Kennedy. Let's see what they do. Yo-ho, ahoy, matey. Pirate Pete Talks Like a Pirate. Pirate Pete. Pirate Pete can't read with this on. Look, it's a surprise. I have an eye under here. I'm gonna move it up. Pirate Pete had the most amazing ship to ever sail the high seas. It's got a lot of the stuff we have. It's got treasure, it's got ocean, he's got the parrot, he's got a hook, he's got a hat. He's just like us. He had the most amazing ship to ever sail the seas, but he needed a crew, just like we do. Not any old crew would do, though. You know what I need? I needs me a pirate crew, Pete told his parrot. And I know just where I can find one. Rascal Island. Bark, bark! To Rascal Island, to Rascal Island, to Rascal Island, said the parrot, so off they went. Ooh, that kind of looks like a fun place. Pete spun the wheel toward the Sea of Mischief, and soon his speedy ship had reached Rascal Island. I don't know if you know what Rascal is, but them are some ill-behaved little people. Pete dropped anchor in the bay, and then he hung a sign across the ship's bow, "Buccaneers wanted." Before long, a boat full of rascals rowed right up to the ship. Pete rubbed his hands together in glee. They were the dirtiest, the most mischievous, and the sneakiest looking scallywags and scurvy dogs he'd ever laid his eyes on. Both of them. One by one, the rascals climbed aboard the ship. All right. Listen up, mateys. Listen up, mateys. Listen up, mateys. If he wants to sail with Pete, then he's got to prove you got what it takes. Pete nodded and declared, "You needs a peg leg and an old eye patch. You need a fierce hook." Got one here. Need a fierce hook and a beard that you can scratch. He's got a load of cannon and know how to fire it. But most of all, he's got to talk like a pirate. A rascal stepped on board, loaded the cannon, and fired it. "Nice fire," said Pete. "And I sees you got a peg leg, I sees you got a hook, and I sees you got an eye patch. And that beard of yours, is it hankering for a scratch?" "Well, actually, it is quite itchy," answered the man, "especially during the summer, when the weather tends to be a little sultry." "Blow me down," bellowed Pete. "You don't talk like a pirate. Walk that plank, walk that plank." Oh. As the man splashed overboard, Pete hollered, "Here's what you should have said. When the sun's a-blazin', me beard gets the itches, worse than a bucket of sand down me britches." "Bark, bark!" "Next," said the parrot. Uh-oh. Look, even the little mouse has to go with him. Ooh. Pete squinted at the rest of the rascals, and then the rascal said, he said to the rascals. You gotta be stubborn and mighty cranky. He's got to be dirty and awfully stanky. He's got to load the cannon, and he's got to know how to fire it. But most of all, he's got to talk like a pirate. Well, the next rascal stepped forward, looked at the cannon, and fired it. Nice firing, said Pete. And I see you're plenty dirty and stanky. But is ye stubborn and cranky? Well, yes, indeed, replied the rascal. Sometimes I'm actually very irritable, especially when I don't eat my breakfast. Oh, shiver me timbers, shouted Pete. You don't talk like a pirate. Walk the plank. As the rascal went overboard, Pete cried, what you should have said is I'm mean as a shark that's stuck in a tub. And when I'm not scarfed me morning grub, I'm really mad. Uh-oh. Bark, bark, next, said the parrot. Well, Pete glared at them rascals, and he said, you's got to love treasure. Why, it's your duty. You gotta plunder ship and shore for the gleaming booty. Yeah, I got me booty here, I got me booty. You got to load a cannon and know how to fire it, but most of all, you gotta talk like a pirate. Well, the next rascal stepped forward and he looked at the cannon and he fired it. Nice firing, said Pete. And judging by the gold and the rubies that you're wearing, you've done your plundering in the past. Yep, that's correct, said the rascal. I've misappropriated a number of fine jewels without permission. Yes, I have. Ah, blimey, said Pete. You don't talk like a pirate. Walk the plank. As the rascal leaped overboard, Pete shouted, what you should have said is I've pilfered loot on land and on sea, and no man's say-so has ever stopped me. What? What? Next, squawked the pilot. What? No. Pete shook his head. He had finally lost his patience. He curled up his lip at the last rascal and he declared, he's got to trim the sails and mind the deck. He's got to be brave in case of a shipwreck. He's got to load a cannon and know how to fire it. But most of all, you got to talk like a pirate. So the rascal walked forward, he loaded the cannon and he fired it. Nice firing, said Pete. But is ye brave? Is ye brave? 'Cause no lily-livered seafarer's gonna sail with me. Oh, I can assure you, sir, that I am extremely courageous, said the rascal. I will conduct myself with the most valor at all times. Ah, confound it, shouted Pete, stomping his foot. You don't talk like a pirate. Walk the plank. As the rascal dropped overboard, Pete shouted, here's what you should have said. I am not a yellow-bellied bone from me head to me toes. I'll stand brave wherever this ship goes. What? Pete said to his pirate. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Out of all of them rascals, no one was fit for me crew. You know what happened? Let me see. One eye makes it hard to find. Me parrot. There he is. Where you been, you little scoundrel? Bark, bark, said, tis true. By the powers, they're no more than a bunch of skivvies and skogs. None of them's fit to go swashbuckling and plundering for pieces of 8 upon the bliney blue sea here in this vessel. None of them, said the pirate. What? Pete blinked. Why, he just talked like a pirate, he cheered to the bird. Ye's all the crew I've ever need. Anchors away! Anchors away! Finally found his crew. Aye, aye, said the pirate, and then off they sailed. Back to the high seas, Pete and the bird. The pirate always gets the last word. They looked for a crew that they could hire, but blimey, no one could talk like a pirate. Except me. Yeah, my crew. Come here, buddy. There you go. Now go make some pirate gear.